Okay, I think we can start. Hello to everyone. Yes, hello. Yes, great to see everyone in the chat. Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time to check out this webinar. I really hope, and I'm sure you will learn something. And today, the webinar topic is, could you be a cybersecurity professional? And we will find out in just under 45 minutes. So this is the answer that I'm quite sure you will have an answer to at the end of this talk. This is my promise. So, hello everyone, I'm Roman. I'm the lead instructor and co-founder at Cybersteps. We are a government-funded cybersecurity training program in Germany for career changers, so people looking to get into cybersecurity. I started my cybersecurity journey in the military, in one of the top cyber military units, 8200. I was doing cybersecurity research there, and then I transitioned to instructing and commanding over the main course of the unit. Over the years, I also did cybersecurity research in many companies and many cyber fields. And also, I was instructing and teaching cybersecurity. So I helped hundreds of students make their first steps and first move into cybersecurity. And I'm constantly talking to managers and employers and people in the ecosystem about the hiring needs and the cybersecurity market. So I hope that gives it at least kind of a little qualification on why you should maybe listen to me. I'm not sure, but I really hope I do not waste your time and that you will gain something from this session. So, could you be a cybersecurity professional? That's what we came here to answer. So let's find out. But first, I want to ask you a few questions, and you can answer yes or no to each question in the chat. So first question is, do you have a computer science degree? Please answer yes or no in the chat. Okay, we see mostly no's, some yes. Okay. Next question. Do you have 10 years of IT experience? Okay, again, mostly no's, some yes. Next question. Are you an expert programmer or a math genius? We see a no. Okay, I see only no's this time. Are you 25 years old or younger? This is our last question. Again, some yeses, mostly no's. So I'm sad to inform that if you answered no to any of those questions, I'm really sorry, but you're still stuck with me for the next 40 minutes because you still don't have the answer to your question. And that's because to start in cybersecurity, you don't really need any of those. So it's completely fine if you answered no. You don't need a university degree in tech. You don't need years of IT experience. You don't need to be a math prodigy or be a super coder since you were 2. And you don't need to be young or recently graduated. So those are kind of common myths that what you need to get started in cybersecurity, and you don't need those. So good news. But what do you actually need? Okay, we said what we don't need, but what do we need? But for that, I can't give out all my cards straight away, right? We still have 40 minutes to go, so we will find out soon enough. So our agenda for today, I'm going to offer you a trade. Instead of answering just one question of could you be a cyber professional, I'm going to answer 4 questions for you. So the first, we will start with why. Why cybersecurity? My name is Roman Dvorkin. Yes, hello. Why cybersecurity? So some of you know that you want to do cybersecurity, but some of you are still deliberating. So we want to choose to explain why cybersecurity is a good field to get into. Then we will talk about what. So what do you actually do in cybersecurity, right? What kind of work we do? What is cybersecurity? Then we will talk about who. So who is a good fit? Who is a good cyber professional, right? And then we'll move to how. So if you actually want to get started in cybersecurity, how you do that, how you make your first step. And then you can actually have more questions that I will answer in our Q&A at the end of this webinar. Perfect. Sounds good. Everyone is on board. Yes, let's go. So we start with the why. Why choose cybersecurity? Again, some of you may already are sure that you dreamt of doing this since a young age, but some of you maybe are quite early and still deliberating and looking into other fields. So I want to give you some more information, help you make a decision. So why cybersecurity, and specifically even why now? So I pulled up a few headlines from recent events, like from the last year in cybersecurity, and mostly in Germany, but not only. But we see all kinds of attacks, right, in different companies and in different contexts. So we see companies have data breaches, and we see attacks related to Russia and the war going on, and we see attacks on municipalities and on transport. So cybersecurity is everywhere, and it's always happening. To kind of strengthen that point, I want to show you a quick demo of a website by a company called Checkpoint. It's a huge cybersecurity company. And they made a website that shows the map of the world, right? And you can see all of those lines, all of those yellow lines here between different countries. And you see kind of the log here on the left. So those are all records that Checkpoint detects from different sensors and devices they have on the web. They detect in real time cybersecurity attacks as they happen. So we can see lots of cyber attacks are happening, right? Different, ignore like the specific countries, but we see there is always an activity and it's an active battlefield. Oh, well, sorry. Now you can see, right? Sorry, I was sharing the wrong tab. Yes, so I'll go rewind a minute. So we have a map of the world, and we see lots of activity with kind of colorful lines between the countries. And those are attacks as they happen in real time. So right now, as we are here having hopefully a good time in the webinar, cyber attacks are happening all the time. It's an active battlefield. So as you saw from the headlines and as you see from the map, there is no boring moment, right? It's always happening, and attackers are always trying to steal information and break into companies and hack everyone. How they are being traced? It's a good question. A Checkpoint is a cybersecurity company, so they have lots of sensors and devices all over, and this is how they can monitor and detect those attacks. So let's go back to our presentation. So now we have a sense of kind of what's going on, and it's still happening all the time. You see it in the news all the time that cybersecurity is live and kicking. So I want now to go in a different direction, but the same kind of question: why cybersecurity and why now? So I pulled a few statistics from various sources, reputable sources, about the cyber job market. So let's talk about a few of them. So CyberSec, we have the statistic of over 600,000 cybersecurity job openings and over 1 million people employed in cybersecurity worldwide. We have ISCC Squared, also a large organization, says that over 3 million people are missing in cybersecurity. There is a large shortage of cybersecurity professionals that are needed in the market. Let's pull another one. So Fortinet, a large tech company, says over 80% of corporate boards recommend increasing the sizes of security teams and the budgets. So, and you have a few more statistics, but generally, the bottom line is cybersecurity market is active. People are needed in cybersecurity. We get that from all kinds of sources that research this information. Okay. Cybersecurity salaries. So, of course, when we're talking about jobs, it's really important to talk about salaries and what is the prospect, the financial prospect in this field. So again, I pulled some resources for you to compare. I also encourage you to do research by yourselves. Go into LinkedIn, pull up some job boards, see what they say. So we focus on junior level salaries because if you will get started in cybersecurity, you will be, of course, junior. You won't have too much experience. So the sources are Glassdoor, Stepstone, Jobisi, G2J. And let's go over some of the salaries. So we see here 50 to 65,000 junior level. Here we see 61,000 median junior level. Here we see 46 to 64,000. And here we see around 50,000. So the range is 50 to 60,000 from all of those websites. This is kind of the estimated cybersecurity salary in the junior level. Okay, I see more questions in the chat. We'll probably leave more of them towards the Q&A, but remember those questions. Another question that you might ask if you're considering cybersecurity as a field is, what about AI? Everyone is saying AI, everyone is talking about it, and we see layoffs related to AI. We see jobs that are being automated because of AI. So, of course, if we're looking to get into a new field, it's important to discuss AI. So AI in cybersecurity comes in two ways. So in general, in cybersecurity, we have the bad guys. We have the attackers, the hackers who are trying to do damage, trying to hurt companies. And we have the defenders, hopefully you and me. So people trying to stop those attacks and prevent them. So AI benefits both sides, right? AI benefits defenders by automating lots of manual tasks related to cybersecurity, such as the log analysis or code reviews. It's okay if you don't know what those means, but those are some tasks we do in the field. It also acts as a co-pilot. So if you ever use the ChatGPT to talk with it, maybe help you with some task, help you with writing something, so we can similarly use it in cybersecurity. It helps us investigating, it helps us summarize events. We consult it all the time. So as a result, it frees up humans for more higher level and kind of more interesting and strategic work. On the bad side, AI empowers attackers and helps hackers as well. So hackers can launch more sophisticated attacks, such as phishing campaigns and deepfakes campaigns. So for example, there was an incident last year, maybe you heard about it, that there was a finance worker who came to a Zoom call, right? Just a Zoom call, regular Zoom call with his colleagues, with the managers, and he was asked to transfer a large amount of money, 25 million, to some bank account. So of course he did as he was asked, right? His manager told him to do the transfer. And only afterwards, the financial worker understood that all of the people on the call were fake. There were none of the co-workers. All of them were just AI-generated videos with AI-generated speech that convinced him and tricked him into transferring this money. So we see this kind of attack and many others and kind of more complex and new attacks happening in cybersecurity. Also, we see just more attacks, right? Because if someone has AI agents, right, and more automation that he can do with AI, now instead of attacking one company, I can attack 10 or 100 or 1,000 companies at the same time. It helps automate as well aspects like scanning the systems for weaknesses and creating custom malwares for those companies. So in general, we just see more attacks and more complex attacks. That's the downside of the AI. So the bottom line, we see AI benefiting defenders and attackers. So what's going on? The balance kind of needs to be restored, and hopefully on the defender side. We need strong defenders who know also how to use those new tools and also have the problem-solving skills and critical thinking and the strategic kind of thinking to use those tools to stop those new kinds of numerous and dangerous attacks, right? But there is always the tension in cybersecurity. They call it a cat and mouse game, because you do something, you close one opening, and then the attackers find a new one. So we still need to be on our toes. So I covered some aspects related to cybersecurity, both kind of job market related and salaries, and also more technical and what does it look like and the activity in cybersecurity, to give you a bit of a sense that it's a field that's always there is kind of action. If you like action and you like developing fields and learning new things, I think definitely cybersecurity could be a good option for you. So let's talk about the next question, the what. Okay, maybe now you consider cybersecurity, but what do you actually do in cybersecurity, right? You want to know what your role would look like. So a quick question before that. What do you think is even cybersecurity? Like, how would you define cybersecurity? Please write your answers in the chat. Okay, we have prevent manipulating data from real persons. Okay, good definition. Bug hunting. Okay, yes. Securing cyber worlds from attackers and hackers. That's correct. Pen testing, intelligence, and threat intelligence. Yes, definitely fields in cybersecurity. Okay, we'll read a few more, and then we will continue. Cyber to protect systems and companies from cyber attacks, firewalls. So everyone has a different picture, a different idea of cybersecurity. There are many fields in cybersecurity. So kind of maybe this is an image that you have in your heads, right? Is this cybersecurity? We see it often in movies, right? In pop culture, we have the hoodie on in the dark room, kind of scripting away on the computer. Is this kind of cybersecurity? Is this cybersecurity? Right, some of you mentioned lots of different domains and fields in cybersecurity. So I pulled up a kind of a graph, a map of different domains in cybersecurity. So we see here everything from threat intelligence and pen testing and security frameworks and risk monitoring, risk assessment. So cybersecurity is super wide. So what do you actually do there? So let's go to kind of the strict definition, the dictionary definition. Cybersecurity is the counterpart of cybercrime. Cybercrime is just crime in the digital space being computers, phones, websites, applications, everything that is involving a digital device or digital information. And cybersecurity is the security of the digital space. So to stop the crime, to stop the hacking, right? Almost all crimes that you can imagine have an equivalent in the cyberspace. So stealing something, stealing information or stealing money, blackmailing, right? Fraud, vandalism even, threats. So we can have equivalents in many crimes that we know of in the cyberspace, and we try to stop them. So who is the target of all of those crimes? We have individuals, just people, you, me, that are being targeted, maybe extorted, right? Maybe being tricked into giving away information or credit card info, stuff like that. We have businesses and organizations. So this will be our focus, and probably you will work in an organization. So organizations are at risk of being stolen company secrets or being stolen credit card info from the customers or customer-related information, right? We have lots of dangers and risks for organizations. And we have countries. So now in the world, sadly, there are many kind of conflicts and the wars going on. So, for example, Russia, Ukraine, there have been many numerous cybersecurity incidents and warfare going on in the cyber battlefield related to this war. So kind of almost every war has a cyber aspect to it. And also the continuous intelligence gathering and everything related to kind of high-level country cyber intelligence. So who are the defenders and what do those people actually do? We are talking about mostly now in organizations, right? Cybersecurity defenders in companies. So I chose to focus on a few titles and a few roles in cybersecurity. There are many more, but I chose to talk about these ones. First of all, they are kind of representing at least many of the fields in cybersecurity, and also because all of them are kind of viable junior and starting positions in cybersecurity. So perhaps your first position would be one of those. So I want to understand each role through the prism, kind of the scope of a real cybersecurity scenario, right? It will be easier to understand this way. So I will present a scenario. We will, of course, go through it. And we will talk about how different roles, kind of what's their responsibility in this specific scenario. So the scenario I'm going to talk about is phishing. How many of you are familiar with phishing? Know what phishing is? Please write in the chat. This is phishing, essentially. We get an email, we have a phone message, right, from our bank or someone pretending to be Google or some trusty organization. It's related to social engineering, right? That someone is trying to trick us, essentially to giving away our password. So, oh, this is your bank, please reset your password, there's been an incident. And then you enter this website, you give away your password, and oops, it wasn't the bank, and you gave away your password. So this is the scenario we're talking about. What is the full scenario? The attacker sends a convincing phishing email to some employee at a company. This employee is tricked by the email, enters their password on a fake page. The attacker then uses the password to log on into various company systems and resources. Sensitive company data is stolen this way, and this leads to financial, legal, and reputational damage to the company. So this is the scenario. And now we will understand each role, what is the responsibilities of each role in relation to this scenario. So first, the first line of defense that we have are the SOC analysts. So SOC analysts asking themselves, what's happening right now? What is the situation in my company? What they do, they monitor the networks and systems 24/7 to detect and analyze all kinds of threats and alerts in their systems and the companies, and respond to those security threats to close them as quick as possible. So they are monitoring systems like this, like dashboards like this one. It's called the SIEM systems, SIEM, that have data from all of the company devices and servers and cloud resources. So everything ends up here. So we have kind of login attempts and installations of new programs. And if someone added a user, all of those logs are gathered in this those kinds of dashboards. So let's talk about our specific scenario. The SOC analyst detects the suspicious login, right? He sees a login from an attacker, not from the employee. Maybe he can deduct this information from the location or the time of the login or some other information. It requires a bit of investigation. Then the SOC analyst goes to all the relevant systems in the companies, such as the firewall and the email systems, to find how the attack happened. Maybe there are more attacks. Maybe we need to stop before it gets worse, right? He goes to all of the systems and gathers more information. And at the end, after this investigation, quickly blocks the attacker, contains the machine, isolates the employee, maybe blocks his user, or issues kind of a password reset to stop and contain the attack. So this is the SOC analyst, very kind of action, right? Very cybery role. Okay, yes, this dashboard is very common, like not this specific one, but a dashboard of this type will be found in many organizations. So next we have the security engineer, the builder. So the builder asks himself, how can I prevent this incident from happening again? So not so much about containing this specific attack, but preparing for the future, right? So security engineers design, implement, and maintain all the security systems in the organization to protect them, right? So in our scenario, the security engineer maybe will deploy a stronger AI monitoring and filtering email system, right? To prevent such emails to even get into the employees. Maybe he will enforce a strict MFA policy, multi-factor authentication. So if the attacker will have the password of the user and tries to log in, the user will get a notification on his phone. Do you want to approve this login? And of course, the employee will say no. So the security engineer will kind of incorporate this type of system. Also, he will automate the security alerts and make it so the SOC analysts get the alerts faster or more accurate alerts. So it's all responsibilities of the security engineer. Next, we have the ethical hacker, or the other name, the pen tester. So the pen tester is kind of, we have the hackers, right? What we imagine with the hoodies, the bad guys, and the pen testers are the good version of those hackers. So what the pen testers ask themselves is, if I was an attacker, if I was a bad guy, how would I get in? How would I hack my own system? So what do? They essentially try to break into their own companies and look for weaknesses and ways in, and then they can report them to the security engineers so they can fix them and close those holes, right? So in our specific scenario, the ethical hacker will simulate attacks similar to the one that we saw, the phishing attacks. So he will send the realistic phishing emails. He will try to bypass the email filtering systems to test the defenses and see how they can be improved. He will also think creatively and think about kind of what other ways are to get into my organization. Maybe this time phishing got me, but next time it will be a web hack, and next time it will be a cloud hack. So it tries all kinds of ways to get in the system. Then, of course, the penetration tester, she will provide a detailed report of all the remedies that need to be implemented, and the security engineers will implement them. So hopefully we will be protected from such attacks in the future. Next, we have the strategist, the GRC analyst. So the GRC analysts ask themselves, what is the business impact and how can we reduce the risk? Okay, so what does that mean? GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance. So GRC analysts ensure the organization is compliant, it follows the security procedures and policies or the industry standards while minimizing the business risk. So cybersecurity is not just tech and hacking and all of this kind of cool stuff. It's also at the end kind of a business decision, right? We are protecting businesses from getting financial and reputational damage, which will affect the outcome of the business. So GRC analysts, in our specific scenarios, they work with legal to report the incident and everything related to the regulation, what needed to be reported, what's needed to be documented, again, to help prevent such incidents in the future. Also, reviewing kind of the incident response plan that we have. Did we react correctly to the incident? Can it be improved? What is the coordination between the different teams? How the security engineers know how to improve the processes from the feedback from the SOC analysts? So all of that. And organizing security awareness training for all the employees. So the employee at the end was tricked by the email. So how can we improve the awareness and improve our employees' kind of reaction to such attacks in the future? So that was a lot of information, I know, but there are also many more roles. We have more information on our website about the different roles, but I just wanted to give you kind of a taste of what is working in cybersecurity like. Of course, it's just one incident and we only covered a small subset of roles, but I hope it gave somewhat of a taste. Okay, next question we will answer is who? Who is a good fit for cybersecurity, right? Who will make a good cyber professional? So let's go back to the question we asked before. What do you actually need to get started in cybersecurity? The annoying answer that many people don't like to hear, it depends. But I'm going to explain what do I mean by that. So it depends on multiple factors. First, it depends on your background, right? You are coming from some background, perhaps some career you already put multiple years in, and you want to leverage all the skills that you gained and everything that is coming with your background. So let's say you're a lawyer, so you perhaps are more familiar with regulation and compliance and working with all the legal documents. So perhaps a GRC analyst could be a really good fit for you, right? Why not leverage everything you already learned and all of your rich experience? The second point is your target role. So we saw a subset of the roles here, but of course, what you need to succeed in cybersecurity will depend on what you're even aiming for. Are you going for the SOC, for the GRC, for engineering, or some other role completely? Another thing to figure out is, okay, you have your first step, maybe you figured out what role you're kind of aiming for, but then what are your long-term career aspirations and what is important to you? Like work-life balance. Are you more focused on technical skills? And that's really important to you. Is going to conferences really important? Working in large teams, like what is really important for you in a workplace, right? So that's also worth figuring out, and it will kind of, your success in the field will depend on that as well. But there is a common ground. There is something that is kind of common to any role or any background you are coming from. And this foundation is a curiosity, a problem solving, love of learning, continuously learning because the field is constantly evolving, and good and clear communication. So those are kind of a foundational set of skills that is needed in any cybersecurity role, but other specifics will depend. So this is kind of to answer the who will make a good fit. And now how to take your first step. So let's say all that we talked about previously, you kind of think cybersecurity is a good field to get into, and you like some of the roles that were presented or some other role you have in mind, and you think your background, you love learning, you're always curious, right? So you could be a good fit. So how do you make this actual first step? So there are two options that I will present. Maybe there are more, but I will present two kind of main options. The first one is self-study. So you can just study by yourself. This day and age, we have lots of information on the internet, and the amazing part is many of it is free or very, very low cost. So you have platforms like cyber-oriented platforms like TryHackMe or Hack the Box, which you have plenty of exercises and theory and everything related to cybersecurity. And of course, you have YouTube videos, right? You have complete courses on YouTube. You have course-specific platforms like Coursera or Udemy. You have world experts giving out courses for either free or not too many, like around $10 or $20. So that's fantastic. It's cheap or free. You can learn at your own space and schedule, right? It's comfortable. You can do it from your home right now. And you can build practical skills through hands-on challenges on such platforms. So that's amazing. What is kind of the downside of that? Why now you can go today even start your cybersecurity journey on TryHackMe, and that could be really fun, and I highly encourage you to do that. But the kind of problem arises in the longer term, right? So maybe today you're starting with TryHackMe, but tomorrow, are you still going to study and continue with TryHackMe? And in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 year, are you going still to be in your own room studying by yourself in those platforms? You will start sometimes questioning, like, am I good enough for this? Am I focusing on the right role? Am I doing the right exercises, right? Those kind of questions start to creep in. And it really requires really strong self-discipline to go for such kind of intense and long-term training by yourself. So it requires really strong discipline and motivation. Also, a downside is you have no formal credentials. So we talked about not needing a formal kind of a degree from a university, but in cybersecurity, we have what's called certifications. So in many of those platforms, they won't be included, or there will be kind of very not formal, and those who are not really industry standard certifications. So this also is a downside of this method of self-study. Another drawback is the limited feedback or mentorship. So you're just by yourself, you're alone in there, and you get the questions that we talked about, like start creeping in, or maybe you want to ask someone and get some feedback, like how am I doing? Where should I improve? What should I focus on? And it's hard without this feedback. So it has its pros and cons. I recommend you try of them, but they have the drawbacks. The second option is a cybersecurity program or bootcamp. So what are those? Those are programs similar to kind of university programs, but usually much shorter and much more hands-on. So what do you get from a cyber bootcamp or program? You have mentorship and support by experts, right? You will have teachers who have been in the field and have some expertise. You will have in many cases career services and job placement assistance. So it's not only about learning cybersecurity, it's also about learning the market and what roles should you apply to and how should you present yourselves and interview simulations and all of those areas. And you have those industry certifications that I mentioned. So you have kind of official exams that you take on different platforms and from different certification providers that show that you are a cloud expert or you are a networking expert and show kind of your expertise in the field. What are the drawbacks of bootcamps? First of all, they're very expensive. Many programs are starting at 10,000 euros and even more. So for many, this is straight away out of the question. We just don't have this money to finance this course for ourselves. The second one is it's a really demanding, in many cases, schedule that requires a strong commitment, like a full-time commitment. You can't do it like you would do a TryHackMe, like maybe an hour a week, 2 hours a week. You really need to commit and do many, many hours, probably train every day. And the third point is the quality in the outcomes. So if you will search today in the internet, bootcamps, general bootcamps in many fields like marketing or other tech fields, you will see very mixed reviews. So some people say bootcamps are great and it helped me find a job and it's fantastic and I could have done it without them. And some say it's a scam and there was no teacher at all and I was just thrown into TryHackMe for a year and I paid for it 10,000 euros. So there is kind of this, it's hard to understand if a bootcamp is worth its salt. So I'm kind of presenting another option, which is the best of both worlds, which is Cybersteps, our company. So Cybersteps is a Weiterbildung company, so a government-funded training, 100% funded by the government. I will give you quick information overview about the program. So we have expert instructors. I'm one of the instructors. I don't want to brag, but I have many years of experience in the field. And of course, all of our staff, all of our academic team have many years in cybersecurity, and they are all experts. We have 24/7 support, so always someone there. We talked about mentorship and feedback, so you get those all the time. You have one-on-one chats like on a weekly basis. You're always supported. You also get a laptop, which is quite amazing. We didn't even consider this option, but let's say you don't have a computer to start in, and this is what preventing you from even starting to learn. So you get a laptop for free completely. The course is quite long. It's a 1-year course with an additional internship afterwards. So 14 months of training, which, as we said before, the commitment, you really need to commit. It's 100% online, but it's daily and you kind of need to put in the work. So it's really not trivial. But there is no cost. So we talked about expensive programs. We are zero cost, completely funded by the Bildungsgutschein. I also mentioned the global industry certifications. So I'm presenting here some of the certifications that we have in our program. Those certifications we handpicked, we really talked with the market and what is needed in jobs and what the certification really represent the skills of the students. So we really handpicked specific certifications. The value of just those certifications and the training and the exam is over 9,000 euros just for the certifications alone. So you're getting lots of value. And if you want to check your eligibility or see more information about the roles we discussed earlier, see kind of cyber career paths and many more, you can find on our website, cybersteps.de, and you can scan with the QR. What's the catch? You may be asking, like, okay, what I presented sounds like terrific. What's the deal? So not everyone is eligible. You need to check your eligibility on our website. First of all, you need to be unemployed, and because it's funded by the government, you need to be registered with the Agentur für Arbeit or the job center, and the approval time can take sometimes weeks. So it's a process. You need to talk with the Agentur or the job center to check if you're eligible. But it's really no risk to check if you're eligible, and you can do that for free on our website and start the process and see where it leads you. So let's go back to the question, the main question that we came to answer. So could you be a cybersecurity professional? If you made it this far, probably yes. I would bet on it, and you have the motivation and you have the interest, and you could make it in this field. So thanks, everyone. And now we have a few minutes for questions. And also we have the QR if you want to scan for our website. Yes, Stefan, you want to join the Q&A? Okay, I see a question now. You can write your questions, submit them in the platform, in the webinar platform. So the first question is, the Agentur für Arbeit is not agreeing to support the 12 months complete program. Do we provide an alternative for 6 months? So can you do a part of the program, maybe finish the program later? So yes, we can do either 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. So breaking down by 3 months kind of intervals. And you can do part of the program. We have kind of adjustment, and the program is specifically tailored for this duration. And you get lots of value from those 6 months as well. Yes, so you can do that. What about the tools and applications we need for the practice? Do you provide it, or we have to buy? We provide everything. You don't need nothing at all. We provide also the laptop, as I said, and all the software, all the access, the exam vouchers. We're providing 100% of everything. You don't need to come up with nothing. We have a question. What's a better choice, a SOC analyst or a pen tester? It really depends on you. It depends on your preferences, depends what's pulling you more, depends on also the market. At this time, I would say there is more demand for SOC analysts, so it's a bit more competitive on the pen tester roles, but it really, really depends on every single person's situation. We, of course, guide you and we discuss with you like what role would make sense for you. We monitor it continuously. We work towards your goals. So it's also something we assist in with the program. Okay, we have more questions. What is the importance of a cybersecurity degree? Is it a mandatory bonus, or how much of a bonus does it give? So I would say that cybersecurity degree helps, right? It's great to have on your resume, you have a degree. Also, some companies, like some specific companies, really require a degree, like they won't consider you without a degree, but those companies are really few and more kind of government related in most of the cases. Of course, it helps. Does it help like 3 years of your time and lots of expenses worth of a bonus? I would say no. Cybersecurity is a very hands-on field, and many managers in the field, they're looking more into what you can do instead of what you say you can do. So even like the theory, right, of knowing, okay, I know in theory that I can do this attack or I can implement the system in theory, but I have never done that. Managers wouldn't really like that. But if you come up and show that I already implemented this, I set up this lab, I already did this practice, I know how to do stuff hands-on, that's what really matters, and that's what gets you into positions in cybersecurity. Yes, I'll go to the other questions. Where students make the mentioned internship. So our internship take forms in different places. Some of them are with our partners. We are partnering with many companies that you do internship with them. You can also do internship with external companies. So if you know some company that you want to do an internship with, we'll help you apply and perhaps you will start the internship there. We'll also have potentially for you inner internships, so you're doing within our company. So it really depends on each person and your goals and kind of your progress and which internship you will do. Okay, I did an apprenticeship as a developer. No need for bonus Gutschein. Do you have info materials to get into Cybersteps? Yes, we have plenty of information on our website. You can also fill the form. You can reach out to our admissions team. They will be really glad to help you and answer any questions that you have. What times are the classes online? The classes are 9 to 6, but we have kind of live sessions in the beginning of the day and the middle of the day, and many of the time is self-practice that you work on the materials. So we have a lecture and then you practice, and then we have another lecture, kind of live session, and then you have practice. And sometimes you have projects, and sometimes you have other things. So generally the hours are a full day, but there is flexibility, and we adjust the program if you cannot make it into some hours. Maybe you need to be with your kids, maybe you have other responsibilities. So we are quite flexible and can adjust it to your needs. How can we do the internship, remote or on-site? It depends on the internship. Some of them are remote, some of them on-site. Similarly with jobs in general, some of them are remote, some of them are on-site. Really depends on the company, depends on the opportunity. What's a good entry-level position to start with building experience if you want to become a SOC analyst? A good entry position, I would say SOC analyst is a good entry-level position. But if you're talking before a SOC analyst, many people start in IT in general. So IT kind of support, IT help desk, IT-related fields, which are more entry-level, kind of more junior fields, and then they continue to study and progress to SOC analyst. But you can actually start as SOC analyst straight away as your entry position. So it really depends on you. Okay, after completing the training and the internship, how does the integration process follow into the job market? How long the transition is to get an actual job? Fantastic question. We start supporting the job search progress quite early in the program. So many programs just you finish the program and then you're on your own. You try to submit a few applications. You're struggling, right? So we are starting after 6 months. So throughout half of the program, we are already doing this career support kind of a part of the program, already helping you understand what the job market is like and what companies should you apply in, and help you improve your CV and help you improve your interview kind of experience and how you present yourself and learn all the missing skills for specific job requirements. So we start working on that quite early. So we have kind of plenty of time while you are still learning with us, right? While you're still building your technical expertise, you're already getting the experience of working with the market and applying, and that's very important because it can take some time. But then how much time it takes to find a job, it really depends on the person and the job, right? But usually the average is a few months until you find a job. That's a 3 months is kind of a good estimate. But some people find it even while they're still in the program. So you apply to a job and you find a job, and that can happen. It's quite rare. It still sometimes happens. Sometimes you still need to kind of complete knowledge, and maybe you need to kind of get your German to a higher level. Maybe you need to continue studying. But we support you throughout that process. You have kind of unlimited support until you find a job. So we are always in touch with you. We're always monitoring and helping you kind of how we can assist. Maybe you need some more technical expertise. Maybe you need to focus on a specific role, and we help you prepare for that. So we have lots of support even after you are out of the program. What is the percentage that previous students get a job? That's a fantastic question. We are actually quite a new program in Germany, so we don't have much statistics on that. We have statistics that we have from other programs we did in other formats and in other countries. The average is around 50 to 70%. That's kind of a range for those numbers, but we don't have the numbers, being completely transparent here, we don't have the numbers for our program in Germany because we are quite new and just started here. Okay, I don't see any more new questions. And we are past of our time. So I think we will end on that note. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope you learned something and I was able to somehow help you with your deliberation on whether you should get into cybersecurity or should you go with Cybersteps or some other program. Last question I see, when is the next batch? Next batch is in August 11th, and we have a batch every 2 months. So we'll have another one in October after that. Thanks everyone. I was Roman. Hope you enjoyed and hope you got learned something. Thanks everyone.